Okay, guys, today we're going to be talking about objects. It's week 3, day 2. Talking about objects. Who here can tell me what an object is? Anyone? Anything can be right. Anything can be wrong. Come on, someone help me.
I can't take notes.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, objects can represent anything.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes?
Are we learning the object-oriented part of JavaScript?
Nope. Like the same thing can have multiple meanings, right? Like it can be used multiple times in different situations, right? Like for example, I don't know, partner. A girlfriend can be a partner, right? Your girlfriend can be your partner. Your boyfriend can be your partner. Your partner can also be someone you have a business dealing with, right? So objects, this concept of objects is bigger. What you're talking about is useful. And it's very similar, to be honest with you. I would say like 80% of it's the same, but it's not exactly the same. Okay? Okay, guys, let's talk about what we did yesterday before we talk about objects, though, okay? Because what we did yesterday is going to be crucial in our understanding of how to work with objects. What we did yesterday is called functional programming. Functional programming. It was super popular back in the day. It's not as popular as it was back in the day when object-oriented programming took over. That being said, it's kind of making a comeback. And yeah.
So we're actually learning functional programming.
Yes. Call a bunch of functions. A function will do something, right? What are some of the functions we wrote yesterday?
So right now, I just saw some YouTube video about JS conference. They talk about functional programming. It's better than object.
So it's like functional versus object-oriented programming is like, what's better, an apple or an orange? Like, you know, like no one can really say which one is better. It's a different style. It does certain things better, you know. That's how it is. No one really knows. It's just a bunch of opinions, right? Some people live and die by object-oriented programming. Some people live and die by functional programming.
So React, we use which one?
Functional programming.
Functional programming.
Yes. Just remember that our functions are what are called first-class citizens. They can be put in arguments, okay? We can put functions inside of arguments. What was the one that we did yesterday? I repeated like 20 times, guys. What was the special function that I want you guys to know how to learn how to use yesterday that took an argument that was a function? Yes, that's exactly what it was. Thank you. Someone was paying attention. Okay, so should I show you this code? I'm not gonna show you this code yet. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's look at a map. Say we have people. Cons, people equals. No, hold on, let's go with our favorite. We'll go with monkeys equals baboon, gorilla, chimpanzee,
Bonobo?
my. Okay, so we have our array of monkeys, okay? This is not useful. We need to do something with this data, right? We have a list of data. We need to do something useful with it. What if we just wanted to see it on the screen? The reason why all these things, all these exercises that you guys have seen with print and console log is that we got to know how to manipulate our data. In order to know how to manipulate our data, we gotta make sure we know how to capture it, right? We gotta capture it, hold it for a second, and just say, hey, I'm only gonna focus on this one girlfriend. Okay, I have one. I have many girlfriends, right? But I can't go on a date with all of them at the same time. I gotta go on a date with the girlfriend 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then eventually, I get to the number 4. Right? So that's what the purpose of the mapping function is. Hey, you know what? I talk about girlfriends a lot. I changed my mind. I'm gonna have a bunch of girlfriends. I'm gonna have Helen. What's another good name? Twee.
Daisy.
Daisy.
My.
Now, You and I, we can't be doing this, okay? We just met. Okay, we just met, okay? So I got my list of girlfriends here. I got Helen, I got Twee, Daisy, and I got Mai, okay? I cannot talk to all my girlfriends at once. You know, it's just too much work. I got to work with one girlfriend at a time, okay? I want to keep them all happy. So I got to figure out how to work with each one of my girlfriends one at a time. And that's when we use the map function, okay? So first off, I just want to remember all my girlfriends' names, right?
You want to know what the length is.
You want to know, you want to know how many girlfriends I have?
How many characters is the name?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I do that, so we'll do girlfriend. So we can just do console.log girlfriend.length, right? So my first girlfriend's name is 5 characters long. The second one is 4. The third one is 5, and the last one is 3.
It's that easy?
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain. Make this simpler. That's what a map is. I have a bunch of girlfriends. I cannot talk to them all at once. I need one girlfriend at a time. The first time this runs, my girlfriend's link. Who's going to be my first girlfriend when this runs? Yeah. And then my second girlfriend is going to be Twee. And then my third girlfriend is going to be Daisy. And my last is going to be Mai. But we almost always want to do more than this. We don't want to just look at our data. We need to do more. It's a waste of time to just type this out, okay? So we need to do if girlfriend is equal to Mai, then console.log girlfriend is an animal, right? Otherwise, console.log girlfriend is a person. Human. I don't know, person, fine. Person. Okay? Oops. So how many of my girlfriends, which girlfriend is going to be an animal? Yes, girlfriend, Maya is an animal. All my other girlfriends are not animals, okay? So look. So like, that's not useful in and of itself. We need to learn how to combine what we're doing, okay? We need to map, and then we need to do other things, right? So let's define a new function. We're gonna say, hey, take to restaurant. Okay. What are we gonna do here? We're gonna pass our girlfriend in. Okay. We're gonna say, hey, girlfriend. I need that girlfriend. Okay. I'm gonna go to the restaurant, but I need to know which girlfriend. Right? Which girlfriend am I gonna take to the restaurant? Let's do a console.log. Taking girlfriend to. Okay, well, let's use our knowledge of string concatenation, okay? I'm taking my girlfriend. Better. That is a better variable name. It should have been name. I'm taking my girlfriend blank to a restaurant. I don't know. Okay? We'll just say that one. Otherwise.
Can you use the $sign in there? That's so you don't have to break up.
Yeah, that's why I don't have to use pluses. I don't want to use pluses. This is. Yeah, exactly. So if my girlfriend is not my, right, I'm going to take her to the restaurant. And I'll say girlfriend. Right? So a couple girlfriends go to the restaurant with me. We got Helen, we've got Twee, we've got Daisy. But if my girlfriend is my, we're going to say give banana.
I don't even like bananas, okay?
Okay, there's nothing wrong with like bananas. I like bananas too. Give banana to my. Oop, my bad. Let's not hard code this. Okay, let's not hard code this. Okay. Okay. So what's going on here, guys? Come on. We gotta know how every single step works. Okay, this is not gonna be magical, and this is going to take, some training and some practice. So what is my function doing? Obviously, this is a stupid ass mapping function. It's not very useful, right? Normally, you're going to be doing something much more, much more meaningful with this. But the objective here is that most times you have an array, you're going to need to look at them one at a time, okay? One at a time, and then you say, hey, this girlfriend here. If this girlfriend is, a certain type, right? If a certain type of girlfriend, right, based on maybe her hair color or her age or where she's from, you're gonna do something else with it. right? And then based on that logic, you do something else. And obviously this gets more complicated, right? This is gonna get way more complicated, and we need to understand how this works really well. Okay, any questions?
So, how complicated can a map function get?
Like infinitely complicated. Like, this is like the simplest ones we can build. They're only four characters long, or 4 elements long. You guys, if you're talking about, there's some arrays that we're gonna have tens of millions of records in them, right?
That's why we're gonna move it to higher order next week and make it less complicated. Okay, because it's gonna be hard. It's gonna get harder and harder. Or it's gonna hold more and more data, right?
No, you're not gonna. At the end of this class, you guys, I only want you guys to deal with an array that has like 50 elements. Okay, but the ways that we combine them and call functions, that's the tricky part. Okay, when to call what component, or when to call what function, what data to pass it, what how to parse it, how to sort it, right? Because I want you guys to imagine, right? Well, imagine we wanted to have a list of like, say, let's just say, const American girlfriends, right? I could do a girlfriends.map, and I'd say, I don't know, no. What would I actually do? I'd say, find Americans, and I'd pass it my girlfriends. Find Americans. First, I gotta find my Americans. I gotta find all the girls that are Americans, right? And then I gotta say, find girls, right? First, I give them all my girlfriends. Oh no, they're all my girlfriends already. Fine. I know, it sounds weird, right? Whatever, man. I'm okay with people thinking I'm a creep. I know I'm not. So anyway, this gets super complicated, guys. Okay, we got to know how to call functions. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to scare you guys. I just want you guys to know, like, this is the basic flow here. Define some functions. Map over some data. When we have this data, do something with it, right? And do it remember, the map. We take one girlfriend at a time. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna move on with lectures. Do you guys have any questions?
I couldn't figure out how to do the powers of 2 problem from the lab.
Oh yeah, I have issues.
Okay, so I think that one was.
It was the mapping one, and I figured you'd get the index, so then you could just multiply that by 2, but I can't figure out how.
Isn't that power of 2 is just the number times itself? Isn't that what a power of 2 is?
The number times itself.
So
They weren't. It didn't seem like it was asking us to take the numbers and multiply it by 2. It just wanted 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
So I can let me remind me to look at that later. Okay, if the name of the function is now confusing us, right? This is what I'm telling you. Like, if it says powers of 2, I expect that if I give it a 4, it should be 16. Because a power of a number, like, here, watch this. Think about this. Powers of 2, 10. I don't know, 10 to the second power. That should be 100. And it is in fact 100. So any number to the power of 2 will always be that number times that number. What's 9 to the power of 2? 81. Yeah. So right now that function.
So the direction said print out an array of the powers up to as shown by this array, e.g. 2, 4, 8, 16.
2, 4.
So I think it's like, don't use the numbers from the constant numbers. Use maybe the index from it, and then just show the powers of 2.
That's what makes it confusing, because it says power of 2 and then it gives you those numbers.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Okay, like, I'm telling you some real, like, let's have an adult conversation. Like, Coder School isn't perfect. Some of the documents are not perfect. Some of the homework assignments are not perfect.
Either way, like, how do I get the index? So how would I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from
Okay.
the array?
Okay, so you want an array. You want to figure out what index it's at, right? Okay, so look. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our girlfriends, just to not confuse ourselves. So let's just say I have girlfriends. I want to map over them. Do you remember how I told you that the argument to map is a function? And what is the first argument to this function, this callback? It's what? Someone, guys. In this case, it's going to be the girlfriend. But what is the better term we should use here? It's going to be the element, right? Because it could potentially not be a name in here. It could also be an object, right? This would have name Helen. This would have age 18, right? Right? So it's an element. The first argument to the function that we give to hold on. Now I gotta fix this before it breaks. Hold on, what was I saying? The first argument to this function right here that we give to map, the first argument will always be the element. Okay, it's what's inside the array. Okay, The second argument will be the index. Okay, so hold on, let's just make sure that we stay consistent. Who are my girlfriends again? I had Helen, Tui. I like this name. Yen. What else was he going? Feng. I always like Feng too. I like your name, buddy. I really do. Okay, I got one that's 19, one's 18, 20. I'm living on top. Life is good right now. Life is good. Life is good. Okay, so remember what we just said, guys. The first argument to this function that we give to map, what is it?
Oh, map? Wait, no, console.
What am I giving to map right here, guys? I'm giving to map what?
Function.
A function, okay? What do functions take? Arguments. They take arguments. What is the first argument we're going to have? The element that is in the array. And I'm going to prove that to you, okay? I'm a console log. What type of arguments are inside my array? What type of watch this. So if I do type of is equal to object, what am I going to get? Type of, oh my bad. Type of element is what? Type of element is what? Okay, I'm gonna save it. Fuck me, I fucked this up. Oh yeah. Hold on. Give me a second. It's all objects, right? So that's not particularly interesting, right? We want to do girlfriend name. So what can I do here, guys? What can I do with this element?
Name.
Yes, I love it. There we go. I got all my girlfriend's names here, right? So now the very next thing was what? What did Sean just ask us, guys? The index. So the first argument will always be the element. The second argument will always be the index. Okay? So I say girlfriend, element dot name is my girlfriend. Okay, yeah, that works.
Could you please change the C column?
You guys gotta remind me to do that. I'm sorry, I go home every day, I write more code. I like dark code. Okay, could you guys please remind me? Yeah. All right, thank you for reminding me. I guess what you say. So Helen is my what girlfriend, guys? Let me delete this. She's in what index? What about Twee? What if I just wanted it to be a list? How could I change this to make it the correct number? Yes, +1. That's simple.
Wait, why did you, because you wanted to do numbers.
Yes, this is going to be very common. You guys do often want to count which element it is.
But what does index stand for then?
Just like first place, second place, third place. Sometimes you gotta know who your favorite girlfriend is, right? You gotta write it down somewhere.
List like numbers, order?
Index is orders, yeah. So what if I wanted something like this? What if I wanted Feng? How could I get Feng to print out right here? I could look at the index, right? Console.log that so I can see it. Oops. So I got Feng right there. I got my third girlfriend, fourth girlfriend.
Is that the name you gave it, or does that always equal index?
So IDX is one of those variables, like I said, like I almost never want you guys to abbreviate your variable names, but there are certain variable names that you're allowed to do that for. You're allowed to make number num. That's okay. You're allowed to make what's another one? Specifically index. Index is also allowed to be IDX. This is because these ones are so commonly used.
Context is CTX.
Yes, CTX is commonly abbreviated CTX. There's a couple big ones. Like, I can't think right now.
Integer is INT.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But almost all the other ones you guys don't want. See, but the thing is, this is a problem right here.
Yeah, this is not good.
Yeah, this is not good because in other programming languages, int clashes with keywords. It is a special keyword you're not allowed to use, okay? But, so I'm trying to say is like almost 90% of the time, I want you guys to type it all out. Do you guys remember that me showing you guys Apple, how long they made their variable names? Remember how fucking long that was? It makes it easy to Control Shift F and find your variables, where they're defined, your functions, where they're defined, what they do. Yes, Maya.
If you don't do girlfriends on console log, you just do index plus one, what's gonna happen?
Say again.
So if we don't want Helen is my girlfriend, blah blah, like for console log, if you want to remove the names and you just want the numbers.
I just want a list of numbers, the length of our girlfriends array.
You want to know how many girlfriends there are in the array?
Yes, I mean, if the task is do the powers of 2, so I need to have that the length of our array. I just need the numbers.
Okay, so which one is this, man? I'm gonna fucking do it. Fuck it. And after this one, I'm sorry, we gotta move forward, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Map,
Okay, which one?
the last one, the map.
Print out an array of powers of 2 as shown by this array. This is just an example. He doesn't want it to be 2, 4, 8, 16. This is a bad example, to be honest with you. Okay, print out an array of powers of 2 as shown by this array. Powers of 2. Okay, this one's super simple. So we can just do, let's comment all this out so we don't pollute our logs. We do const nums equals what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Print out an array of powers of 2 as shown by this thing. Okay, so he wants to take every single number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't work.
No. Lloyd, I think what it wants is basically it starts with 2, powers 2, it's gonna be 4. 4 power 2 is 8, right? Or no? I'm not doing that.
That makes sense. Actually, that's the best explanation I've seen so far, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Powers of 2. So you take a number.
We have to use the given array up there. There's a given array.
Yeah, the constant numbers from 1 to, yeah.
9.
No, the given array is like a.
But the one that's throwing me off,
Yeah.
the one that's throwing me off is the 3. The 3 right here, the 3, if you multiply that times 2, it's gonna become 9.
That's an example. So they want the constant number when you put it in the 1, 4, 9, something.
Okay, should we just ignore it?
I know, man. Like, hey, we're getting off track. Okay, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna show you what this does. What I want. I expect this to do. And we're gonna move forward. We can, like to be honest with you, I think the instructions are wrong. The example is wrong. Like that's the truth. So I just want
Yeah.
const new numbers. Okay. So this is what we're just gonna do. We're just going to take. Look, guys. Look. Come on. Stay focused here. Okay. We're going to take our numbers here, right? Constant numbers is an array.
Hold up. Where did you get? So numbers map num is the constant in there is the 5. You put the 1 in there. It's the numbers.
What's there? Can you tell me a line number?
5.
Line 5. Okay. Yes.
So you're in that parentheses right now in the function.
Yes.
So basically, you're gonna take the numbers from line 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're just going to push these, we're going to push the value into this array. Okay? Except we're not going to take the number. We're going to take the number times 2. Right? Times itself? Okay, times itself, fine, whatever.
Times itself is not power.
Power 2.
Yeah.
So the instructions and the example are wrong. That's you guys need to understand this is going to happen in your jobs. You're going to read instructions and the instructions are going to be poorly written. You need to confirm. You need to go talk to your CEO, your CTO, your technical lead, your client, whoever it is, and say, I need you to explain this in more detail. Okay? That's a normal thing. So now we're going to console.log new nums. And then we're going to see new nums.
On line 6, you have.
Yeah. We can see that new nums is in fact every single number times to the power of 2. Okay, so we're just gonna ignore. We're gonna move forward with that one. Sorry, we can talk about this, but I really want to get through today's explanation. Am I capturing this? Yeah, it's recording.
No, she wanna capture your
Right here.
this. Or you can put it in the Discord.
problem. Okay, so this is done. That's done. Okay, so let's move on. Functions are first-class citizens. We can pass them to functions as arguments. It says the same thing on the right, guys. Okay, we just did this with Matt. Remember how we figured how did we take each one of our girlfriends on a date? We passed Matt a function. That simple. Once again, there are many ways to declare functions. You guys are gonna learn all these ways by the end of this class. Okay. Obviously, I don't expect you to know the difference of these off the top of your head, but you will be exposed to them, and you guys need to get a good feel for these. Every single mapping function, once again, this word we're looking for, the real name we should be looking for is enumerators. Enumerators. Yeah. That's the key word you're looking for. It's basically any function that looks at an array and does something with all the arrays, with every element in the array. We can easily chain functions, guys. It calls two functions right after each other. So let's think about this, okay? Let's do let's imagine I had a string hello world, right? I can hit enter, that's what it is. I could also do two uppercase, two uppercase. I call this function. Do you see how it becomes caps? Well, I could also do another one, two lowercase. And now it becomes lowercase. So first it was just regular, then it became uppercase, and then we took the uppercase and we made that into lowercase. We want to get in the habit of chaining functions. It's quite difficult to know how to do this correctly. Don't worry if you don't know how to do it correctly now, okay? But the idea is that this will make our code easier to read. Remember, we want our code to read like English. Where's the... Okay, so remember, there are three very important enumerator functions I want you guys to memorize. We'll start with map, okay? Start with map, and then later on, we're going to figure out how to use filter and reduce, okay? Who here got to use sum yesterday? Anyone get to the sum lab part? What about every? There are other, okay, yeah, it's okay, you're going to practice, and one day you're going to use it, and then you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. There are many other ones. These are the three most useful ones, okay? I want you guys to have these ones memorized. Okay, here's a quick lab walkthrough. We're going to be dealing with objects to do this correctly. Don't confuse objects with object-oriented programming. That's not going to be within the scope of this class, but just know that, like, even if this is not in the scope of the class, a lot of things that you guys are going to do also apply to object-oriented programming, okay? You're gonna have loops, you're gonna have functions, you're gonna have arguments and parameters and a bunch of other stuff. An endless list of things that are very similar. Hey guys, this is how we declare a object, okay? That's all it is curly braces. And then we give it what? What does this look like, guys? It's a key. Our key will have a value, and if we do user.name, we get that value. I'm gonna prove it to you. Okay, so let's look at in our console. Let's look in our code editor. I prefer you guys write code in your code editor. New. I gotta stop looking at the screen. Quokka? Why is this not working? What the hell? Okay, so I have a constant. It's going to be a person. Guys, you got to pay attention to this, okay? This is super important. Let's give our person a name. What name do you want to give it? Okay, we'll just make up one, okay? We'll say, I don't know. We'll just do, what's something everyone can, just do person. Person is always a good one. Do Loy. Age is 32. Job is monkey instructor. Okay, so how can I figure out what my person's name is? Just .name. Why am I not seeing anything right here in blue?
No console log.
Exactly. Okay, I cannot guess what's in there. I need to console log it. What's the value? It's Loy, right? So what? It's .name is the preferred way. Okay, but there's also another way. You can also use it almost like an index. These are exactly the same thing. You guys see that? Line 7 and 8. But the preferred way is line 7. That's how you should be writing it. We can obviously add to it. Person dot gender is male. Okay. Now if I console log person, what do I see? I added a key. Right? We can manipulate our objects. The objects, they're supposed to represent anything. The objective here is to be able to conceptually represent anything in the world, right? That's why they're called objects, right? So what if I want to do something like animal? Animal equals name is Spot. Type is species is dog, right? Color is brown. What if I wanted to look at my animals' names? Animal, my animal species, okay? Did that work? Yes, it did, but I didn't console log.
You delete one.
I forgot. Okay, here goes dog right here. You want to learn how to, you want to know how to delete, right? Okay, I don't remember how to do this. So I'm gonna Google it. Oh, it's just delete. Okay, there you go. There's this command right here. So we can just do, so let's look at our object, let's look at our animal, right? And let's just say we'll delete color. Does that work? My bad. What is it? It's animal. So you guys can see on line 22, our object had exactly 3 keys, right? I had spot, species, and color. On line 23, we decided we wanted it to delete a key, right? So what happened on line 24? Our animal object now only had 2 keys. Okay?
Why is on line 8, why is it person and then named in like brackets?
Because I was trying to show you that there are multiple ways to get a keys value, right? So what are we doing on line 7, guys? We're looking at our person object, right? And we're saying, hey, I don't want to look at the whole object. I just want the value of the name key, right? So look at the name key and give me its value. And what is the value of the name key in this person? Sloy.
You write anything in there and it'd be done. Anything?
I could write anything. I could put any key I want. How many keys can a person have? Could I have something like nationality, favorite singers, right? Could I have something like that?
You just do dot, whatever that sub key.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. You can have favorite singers. You can do like Mariah Carey. I don't know. How many other different things? Say home birthplace.
Does that have to be in brackets?
Well, because the reason why I put it in brackets is because I want us. This is what we call a relation, right? Like specifically, one person can have many favorite singers, right?
So how do I prevent people from deleting the key?
You don't need to do that right now. Right now, like as a developer, you should be able to do whatever you want. Your user is never gonna know how to execute the add to do. They just know how to click a button. That's all they know how to do, right? Users are gonna open up their console and they're not gonna fuck around on the console. That's just not their skill set. They're busy doing other things. So just know that you are the ones who control these objects. We are the developers. We can do whatever we want to these objects. In just a few moments, we're going to do that, exactly that. We're gonna create some objects and we're gonna manipulate them, okay? We're gonna do this and that, and we're gonna create a what app, guys? A to-do app, yes. Okay, so let's move on. We have how to declare and use objects. Parsa, how do I declare an object? What do I type? I want to declare a person object. What do I type? I can do let or const, the name of the variable, equals, and then curly braces. Okay? And we're going to attach many keys to our objects. It's like an object, some people call them dictionaries in JavaScript. Okay? They map keys to values. Right here. Here's my key, name, on line 2. On line 8, I'm looking at the person object's name key, right? And where does this name key get its value? On line 2. Obviously, we can create many people, right? right? I don't know. What's a good job? What's a funny job title? Action hero, whatever.
You can make the whole thing an array, right?
Well, the objective here is that you want to, well, eventually we're going to have an array with many objects, and these objects are all going to be complicated and useful, right? I cannot, how am I supposed to create a very engaging UI with a whole bunch of different information about different people without some information? What's a very common key that you expect every person to have on the internet? I guarantee you guys, every single one of you have this key titled to you on your accounts. Nope, it's just email is probably one of them. That's actually probably another one. But if we look at Facebook, everyone has a photo. Everyone has an avatar, so specifically avatar URL. Okay, and guess what the value in here is? HTTPS www.facebook.com photos. I don't know, primetime tran, some shit like that. I don't know. Okay, so there goes objects, guys. Remember, this is objects. We're dealing with objects, okay? I'm not trying to objectify you. I just want you to know about objects. Yep. Okay, so let's move forward with the lab, or not the lab, the thing. Okay, so actually, my bad. You guys have already been using objects, but we just didn't tell you, okay? Yeah. And actually, console.log. You guys used a bunch of objects. You didn't know it. I just told you guys to follow along.
Confusing for me because it says everything in JavaScript's an object.
Yes, but the thing is like the most conceptually high things, like you're not prepared to think about yet. To be honest with you, like you guys know you guys need simpler shit first, right? But you guys have all been working with objects already. Okay, and also there are some other magical things that you guys have been working with. The console. The console is an object. That's why you can call it dot something on it. And what's inside the log key, guys? What's inside of that? What data type? Console.log. What's inside of here? What is this?
Function.
This is a key. Its value is a function. And we can call that function. Right? What if I just did console.log, console.log? Here's a function right here. I can click it.
Native code, does that mean programmed into the...
It means some code someone else already wrote for you for free. You don't even have to think about it. It's somewhere in here, okay? This is what we call minification right here. This is what's going to happen to your code whenever you guys when you guys get pro as fuck and then you make production builds for other people to use. The code, your runtime engine, all that stuff, when you guys make a production build, it throws away all the white space, everything. It encrypts it so that your code can be downloaded much quicker and ran much quicker. You don't want your computer reading 1,000 lines of white space because it goes to the one line slowly. Obviously, your computer works very fast, but imagine you have dozens of files, right, that have a bunch of white space. It adds up. All this shit adds up to make your program run fast or slower. Okay. So yeah. So remember, console.log is also a function and it's attached to an object. Document.getElementById also objects. Okay. 2 ways to access. Remember, I just showed you guys there's 2 different ways to access. How can I access an object? Its value. Const person equals name is Loy. I can do person.name. And sometimes there are specific use cases, but you guys can also do this one. There's going to be a very specific situation which you need to do this one, and I'll show you when it comes time to get there, okay? Another thing we can also do is what? I know that may not seem useful right now. You guys may not understand why I put name inside of a variable and then pass the variable into person, okay? That may not seem particularly useful now, but you will. This is useful later on, and I want you guys to know that this is possible. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Enough lecturing about that. Okay, today we're gonna be building a to-do list, but for some reason, I gotta use the bathroom. I don't know why. What happened to me? I want you guys to all sign in here, make 3 to-do lists, sort it. I know that you guys have already done this, okay? I know that you guys have already done it, but do it again, okay? Because I want you guys to think about this, okay? Go to the to-do list, sign in, create 2 or 3 to-dos. Do it. Give me 5 minutes, and then then we're gonna have a presentation in which I do the to-do list because I want you guys to know there's a lot of moving parts here. Okay. Working directory. I want to create a new project. What do I need to do? Well, I know that all of our projects always go in a specific folder, right? So I'm going to create a new folder called to-do list. Okay. I'm going to move into the to-do list, and then I'm going to create all these necessary files that I have to create. We always have to create some standard files. Right? Then I'm going to open up my code editor. Okay, so we've got our code editor open. We have nothing inside of our index.html. If we open up our live server, what will we see? Yes. So now we need to add a HTML5 template. So I always prefer the one off of SitePoint. It hasn't broken yet. This one has always done well for me, so I'm going to stick with them. I'll paste everything inside of here, and then I'll change the relative paths. Okay? And then we're going to confirm that this works. How can we confirm that this works? Yep. We're going to do our scripts. Open up our scripts. We're going to do console.log, test, fungs, suggestion. Yep. So we jump back over to our code editor, or our Chrome, and we open up our console. We refresh. We can see that fungs suggestion worked. We did, in fact, test our JS was loaded. I also want to test that my styles was loaded. Okay? So let's look at our CSS. What can we do here? Let's target our body. Let's give it a background color and we'll say it's red. I refresh. Okay, so I can see that our styles and our JS has been properly loaded. Okay? So what are we building here, guys? No, you guys are building a to-do app. You guys aren't ready to build the world's greatest to-do app. Okay, so you guys are just gonna give a user a prompt and say to-do list. Okay, we look at it, we see our to-do list. I don't like this red. Let's go ahead and delete that. Okay, we'll think about that one later. We got a to-do list. Now, what do we need? How are we gonna figure out what our user wants? Yes, we need an input. Right here. So we got our input. Now we can type. What else do we need, guys? We need a button. Very simple. I want very simple things from you guys. I want buttons and inputs. Add to do. Okay, save, refresh. I got a button. Okay. Now I click this button. How can I determine what's inside this input? When I click this button, what do I need to have happen, guys? What do we want to have happen? Yeah. So if I'm typing, in this case I don't have a button. Okay, I could have added a button. I don't like having that many buttons. We hit enter. You guys can also do this. Okay. But whenever we confirm that we're done, we want it to add to a list, right? So we need to know when we click this button, we need to fire a function which will add to a list below it. Okay. So we're going to do. Yes, we're going to create a function, add to do. Okay, is this a function? Console.log, adding a to do. I want you guys constantly console.logging. Okay, I click it, it doesn't work. What's wrong, guys? I need to attach this function to the on click. Okay, do add to do. With the parentheses, don't forget the parentheses, guys. I refresh. Now I've successfully fired the button. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. Why do we have what? It's just a rule. That's just a syntax. If I delete this and I refresh the page and I click it, it doesn't fire. It's just some rule someone made, right? Even though this is spelled the same, right? Add to do, add to do. But if I add the parentheses and I click it, now it fires. I just somewhat.
The instance where you put something inside the parentheses?
Yeah, in React. We will do that next week. Okay? Yes, we should be doing that. We do hello. Say argument. Will this work? Save, refresh. It does in fact work. Dope. Actually, you're going to do that right now. Now that I think about it. We're gonna do that in just a second. Okay, so here we are. We define a button. We've got an input. When this function fires, what do we want to do now? we want to grab the input. Whatever is inside of here, we want to grab that. So we give this an ID so that we can successfully target it. Obviously, there are other ways to target it. I think this way is the easiest. So I'm just going to say to do input. Okay? Save it. Now in our function, we're going to do document.getElementById. We're going to focus this one input and we're going to get that value. We're going to stick that in a variable called go. Just because we're lazy and we want to make sure that we got it. Okay? I want you guys constantly just console logging. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? We're going to call it go for right now. I'm going to type in. Ask me any questions. What do you? Okay, fine. So right now, I'm just trying to target on line 2. I'm trying to figure out what's in the input. Okay, we know the user clicked the button. Now we need to know what they want to add. Very simple. So let's just make sure that we've successfully got the input, right? So we're console logging that what we got in the value on line 3. So we save it, we refresh. I type in red, car, pink, pineapple. I hit add to do, and I can see that that was successfully targeted. We successfully captured that value. Okay? So now, what can we do? Well, we want to have a list of to-dos, right? Can't we just stick that to-do on the get by ID? And what do we want to do here? We want to target a list and then add to it, okay? So we'll just call this to-do list, okay? We'll do inner HTML is equal to go. But go is not a good name to do body. Okay? So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna have a bug. Yes, we will, because we don't have anything called to-do list right here. Watch, I'm gonna refresh, I'm gonna type, I'm gonna do add to do. Cannot set property inner HTML of null. What it's saying is this thing inner HTML, we didn't find this thing right here on the left in order to call .inner HTML on it, right? So we need to do is we just got to define it, right? We got to write it here. The ID is going to be yes. So I save, I type in some stuff. It works. But what happens if I type in some more stuff? It replaces it, exactly. So we need to do something better. We need to use a new data structure. And this is actually not a new data structure. This is something you guys have worked with.
Storage thing?
That's how we solve another problem. But we haven't even gotten to that problem yet. The problem is that we don't only want one to do. We want many to dos. So we're going to find a new variable called to dos. It's an array. It's going to contain many to dos. Very simple, okay? So when I get this to do body right here, right? I'm going to do yes. I'm going to push in our to.body. Okay? So now, what was the original problem that we had, guys?
It deleted the first to do.
Yes. It removed it. Okay? So conceptually, it removed it and no longer existed after the function executed.
Why is that?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. So right now on line 7, I just want you to show you guys that this array is going to grow. Okay? We're going to save here, we refresh. I add 1, I add 2, I add 3. So right here, our list was completely being removed and added again. It was completely being replaced. But conceptually, how did we represent our to-do list with an array? So what can we do with an array that has many elements that of some code that we want to repeat over and over again? Want to map it. Very clear, right? Very simple. So now we're going to say, hey, our to-dos, let's map over them. And what should we stick inside the map function call? Okay, stick a function in. An anonymous function, yes, right? And then each time this function is fired, what do we need access to? What do we need to capture? The element, okay? This case, we're just gonna call it element. And what do we want to do with this element?
Short thing again, the element, you're just giving it that name because it is an element, but it's just the name that we give it.
Exactly. You call it whatever you want. I'm calling it element right now because in reality it is in fact an element, even though it's also a to-do, right? It's an element. And the reason why I want you guys to think of this as an element in an array is because in a second, what is this element going to be? Is it going to be a string?
Probably, because it's gonna be an array, right?
No, remember, what was the focus of today's lab? The focus of today's class is to deal with objects. We want objects inside of here, right? So I'm not going to call this a to-do. It is, even if it's an object, it's still a to-do. But just trust me, in a second, I'm going to show you why this is useful, okay? So I save it. We saw that our to-dos are growing in length. Now we simply want to append. So I think this is going to throw,
I mean,
it's going to add. You append something.
oh, okay.
I pinned a ribbon to you. It means I'm adding a ribbon. So I do 1, I do 2, I do 3. Still an error. So you don't want to replace the inner HTML. What do we want to do, guys? We want to do document, JS, document, add child, add to end, append child. Fuck, man, this one's more complicated. I'm just gonna copy all this in, right? And then we're gonna do what, guys? We're just gonna start deleting, okay? We're gonna delete and see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna delete. We're just gonna see what happens, okay? That's okay to do that. So I'm gonna save. I'm gonna jump over to our code, our browser. I'm gonna do 1. I add. What's the problem? Append child. I cannot call append child on an object that is null, right? So what is it saying that's null?
Okay, what's the difference between append child and push? Because they all add.
So a pushing is simply pushing something into an array in JavaScript. Append child is a DOM function which will append things to our Chrome's browser.
So the push pushes it to the array, but the append child will put it in the index.
It will put it inside in the DOM. It will put it inside in our screen. It's specifically for the screen. So if I tell you that that's useful for the screen, does that mean it's useful on mobile?
Yes.
No.
No.
DOM doesn't exist on mobile. But what does exist on mobile? Arrays, objects, functions. Okay?
The DOM is tied to the,
DOM is the document object model. The DOM. There's just a whole bunch of magic in here. You guys don't need to remember this. I promise you, you can't not remember this, okay? Not right now. So let's stay focused, okay? Let's stay focused. I save. I had to replace this to-do list, okay? We need to add to this list right here. So I refresh, I type in 1, I click add, it goes. I click 2, it goes. Yeah, so we now need to replace water right here. We also need to delete line 9 because we're running the same function twice. So I refresh, I type 1, click add. I click 12. So what's the bug that we have now, guys?
The whole array each time.
Every single time that we do add to do, it doesn't remove the array. It starts all over from the beginning and then it adds every element, okay? Let's just one time. 1 is my first girlfriend. There's only one item, there's only one element inside this array, so it only put on one element. But now if I put 2 is my second girlfriend, it's gonna start from the beginning and then add both of them, including the one that we already have. And then obviously the same thing for 3. Third is the lucky time.
so why is it doing this in the JavaScript?
Because every single time we run this to-dos, right? The first time there was only one element in the array when we added. The second time there was 2 elements in the array, and then we added that as well, right? So if I hit this right now, I expect to see 6 total. And I do in fact see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the solution to this one is quite simple. Okay.
Wait, can you go back to the script?
Every single time we do add to do, it's going to look at our to-dos and then it's going to draw them on the screen. Let's think about this, okay? How many to-dos did I have to add?
1.
Okay, so if I type in one more and I hit add to do, how many to-dos will I add to the screen? So how many does that mean I have total? And how many do I have in fact total? I have 3. There are 2 elements. So the issue now is that we need to remove everything inside of there at the beginning. So I'm simply going to copy document.getElementById, and I'm going to do.innerHTML equals an empty string. So I save, I refresh. If I enter 1, I add 1. If I enter 2, I have 2. If I do 3, I have 3.
Wait, can I try that again? So, what is that doing?
This is before I start going through my array and mapping each element to the DOM, drawing it on the screen. It clears it. Yeah, it just simply removes all the ones that we already have. Okay?
And then, so the only thing you did was to remove it from the function to do that.
No, it's still inside the function call, right? It's still inside this function add to do. But before I map over all of these, before I map over all to dos and draw them to the screen, I need to clear it, right? What would happen if I put this right here?
It would be nothing. It would carry it naturally.
Exactly. We draw it to the screen, but then we clear it, right?
So now, okay, so now I get why it's important to put certain things in the order, right?
We need to put this before. Yes. This takes practice. There's no other solution. If I put this before, it clears everything inside of this UL. Okay? Let me go ahead and just, that UL is right there. Let me try to be a little bit more explicit. Okay? We're gonna say the to-do list. We're gonna say that its height is 1,500 pixels. Width is 500 pixels. Background color is blue. So the list is there. It just doesn't have anything inside of it. Okay, it's there, but it does not have anything inside of it. I can add and remove to it, no problem, right? So we can add and remove to it, right? Okay, I don't like that color, light pink. There we go, that seems more clear. There we go. All right, do you have any more questions right now? Questions? Okay, so now we also want to be able to change this to-dos attributes. Okay, why do to-dos have attributes? What the fuck? What does that mean? Can't to-dos be done or not done? Right? Does that make sense? If you guys look at this app right here, isn't it clear what done and not done means? It means like, hey, some to-dos you did, some you didn't. Very simple. So, in order to solve this problem, we're now going to use objects. So, we're going to now do what here? On lines 6, 7, and 8. We're going to say, hey, let's create a new to-do object. Const to-do object here. This is the object, okay? So, what are special things about objects? They have keys. Exactly. So one of them will be called body, and we'll just stick in to do body. And then we'll have another one called done. And when you create a new to do, is it done yet? So we're just gonna make it by default false. By default, it's false, okay? Obviously, we can once again add as many other keys as we want. We're gonna keep it simple right now though, okay? So what are we gonna do with this to do object now? We're gonna push that. Okay, we want to have the object inside of here. Okay, but now what is the next step that we need to do? We have the element on line 16. On line 17, because this is no longer a string, what do we need to do now? It's no longer a string, it's an object. What can we do now to make sure this doesn't break? If I leave it how it is right now, I save it, and I jump over here. If I start adding, you're gonna see it says, oh shit, you're sticking objects on the screen. Your computer does not know how to render it. But what can it render? It can render a key's value. So what key do we want? Body. That's exactly what we want. We want body. So refresh. I type in this. Okay, it seems to have worked. Get buy cigs. Smoke cigs. Come on, guys. Come on, this isn't that complicated. I promise you guys. This is doable. We can all do this, okay? So now that isn't really that interesting, right? We want to do something more. We also want to be able to toggle. Okay, we want to be able to toggle. To like turn on, off, yes, no. Toggle the light, on, off. Right? Let's look at this. Let's look at this to do, guys. I want you guys to look at this. Okay? This is an example of what we need to know how to do. Every single UI in the world allows you to manipulate data. Okay? I can go to Facebook. I can upload a new photo and get a new avatar URL. I guarantee it. I guarantee you, every one of you can do that as well. There's no application in the world that's useful that does not allow you to edit your data and to change it and to add to it and to delete it. We need to know how to do this. This is crucial. Okay. So now we need to know how to toggle it, right? I want to just make it click. So the first thing we need to do is like, how can I know if I'm clicking it? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new string right here. Instead of doing this one, I'm going to make it, fuck man, I always forget how to do this one.
Can you do it slower so I can follow?
So we're going to have to go, like we got 10 more minutes to do this. Okay, we got to figure out how to do this. So we're going to do to-do list. Okay, I'm going to show you that there's something you can do. .inner H.
So what are we doing? Toggle?
Yeah, I'm going to show you how we can do toggle real quick. I'm going to do href is nothing. Do on click. We're going to do test click is the function that we want to fire. Okay, and what do we want to stick inside of here? I'm going to stick in the to-do's body, right? To-do object dot body. Okay, so I'm going to save it. I'll refresh, type in something. I can see it there now. And why is this blue now, guys? Because we stuck in a string that the string is eventually going to be parsed. So the word you're looking for is parsed. It's parsed into HTML. Okay, we take the string, we turn it into HTML. This is that simple. Okay, so now test click. If I click it, what's going to happen? It's going to complain. It doesn't know what test click is. So we need to define this. You say, hey, Loy, you stuck in a test click right here, but we don't understand what test click is. So we need to define it. Now we're going to do console.log. Hi. Yeah, just test click. Sometimes I throw in garbage, but you know, like I need to be more explicit. I need to show better errors, okay? So do add, and I click it. So we successfully know how that we click this object, right? So now what can we do?
So we click it, and it should change color and stuff? No, we're not there yet.
Yes, but before we worry about changing colors, we need to know how we clicked it. How did we click this button? How did we write code that was going to click this button, allows us to click this button?
You wrote a code for clicking on the button?
But can you tell me on which line right here did this? Which line of code did this?
21?
Yes. What's going on line 21? Tell me in detail. I need more details. I want to give you money, but you need to convince me that you know what you're doing. What's going on line 21?
So it's in a map, and then you commanded it to, you actually linked it to HTML, and then you did the on click, the button there, press click.
Exactly. We used a string that had a bunch of HTML in it, okay? That HTML was parsed to become actual HTML, okay? That's simple. And then we stuck it on the UI. So now we got this function, right? So this function is actually not good enough yet. We need to do more with this. So we know let's just figure out how we can delete, okay? I changed my mind. I want to know how to delete. Do you guys want to know how to delete or toggle first? Which one do you guys want to know how to do?
Which one's easiest?
They're both. I'm just gonna do.
I'd like to move it to another list.
Say again.
I'd like to move it to another list.
Like a Trello kind of?
We need to start smaller than that. I need to be able to add and move. Okay, we're not focusing on that right now. Okay, let's do delete first. Okay, so we're on click. We're gonna change this to delete. Okay, so what is delete going to do? We need to pass it some. Like if this list had 20 objects in it, how do we know which one to delete? So now we need to know. We need to get smarter. We need to do something that Sean just asked us to know how to do earlier. We need to look at the index. Which one was clicked? Okay, so what is the second argument to this mapping function? The index. Very simple. So I'm going to pass that in as an argument here. Okay, so now this delete, I can't use that keyword, my bad. It has to be remove to do.
Well, how come you can't use delete?
Because that's a reserved keyword. I can't call a function. I can't call a function.
Oh, I get it.
I'm not allowed to do that. Their keywords are already, they're special words. Okay, so now this becomes my argument, right? Remember the index becomes the argument right here, right? So let's just make sure that this works. I save it. If I click this to do, what number do you guys expect to see in here?
0.
Good job, Sean. That is exactly right because we clicked the 0 index object and the 0 index element inside the array. So now the question becomes, how can we fix this? How can we remove it now? What are we working with?
Use delete.
So remove from the array.
Yes, what array?
To do.
So we gotta say, hey, arrays, whatever is inside, remove index. Remove, I forgot how to do this. I'm just gonna Google remove index.js. How do I remove a particular element from an array?
Splice index.
Find the index of the array element you want to remove. Then remove that index.
The elements or aggregator elements.
Okay, hold on. So this looks right? If I have 2, 5, 9, I remove the 1 index, right? What do I have left? 2 and 9. And I don't know if this works. I'm gonna test it, okay? I'm gonna do const, nums is, I'm gonna do a different example. Animals. Fruits is what's the fruit? Apple,
Coconut?
coconut. What's the fruit? Kiwi. Okay? I want to remove coconut. What can I do?
Fruit splice.
Yes. Fruits dot splice. I want to remove coconut. What do I do?
One.
I'm not 100% sure to be honest with you. That's why we're testing. Okay. So now let's look at fruits. So what splice is saying, hey, which index do I want? Grab out exactly one. The one on the left is the index. The one on the right is how many elements I want to remove. Okay, so we need to. We only have 4 minutes left. I need to complete this. Okay, I just showed you. If you don't understand, you need to read this and experiment. All you guys need to experiment. That's why I wanted you guys to do this yesterday. This is crucial to our skills. Okay, we need to learn how to do stuff like this. So now we're gonna do todos.slice. We're gonna take the index, and then we're gonna move 1. Okay, so I save it. Will this work now, guys? It will kind of work. I will remove it. Okay, let's look at our to-dos. Before, after. So I refresh, add a to-do, go to school.
Let's do a few lists.
Watch this, watch what happens. I click it. Before, the array had how many elements inside of it? It had 1 element. How many did it have after? No, it has 0 now, right? There's 1 here, there's 0 here, right? And the problem is we've removed it from the array, but what was the problem here on the left in the pink?
We haven't rewrite it.
We haven't removed it from the screen. So now what should we do? I'm just copy this whole thing and do it again. Okay? Very simple. I refresh, I add one, I click the button. Whoa. I'm confused, guys. I add one, I click it. Huh? The fuck? Why isn't this working? I add one. I click it. I expect it to be gone. What the fuck? Oh, because there's an error. There should be an error. Element.body. Come on, baby, please work. Oh, my bad, I didn't remove it. Okay, we gotta do the exact same process right here. We gotta remove all of them and then we gotta draw them all again. Okay? So I refresh, I add it to do, I click it, now it's gone. The reason why we see 0 here is because how many to-dos do we have in our list? Got none of them. So obviously it's gonna stick nothing in, right? We have no to-dos, right? Okay, so now, so it's 11:30 right now. I've been talking for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and break right now a little bit early. You guys can start working on it. One of the feedback we heard was that we need smaller lectures broken up. Okay, so this is a lot already. I need you guys to get this working. Okay, and get this working, and then we're gonna do the rest of it.